Hey, I'm Noah from the Runaways, here to talk about Super Slam pre-release. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll be fully equipped to head down to your local game store and win some games of Flesh and Blood. I just got back from the world premiere in Montreal, and I was able to finish first after Swiss with a 13-1 record, piloting KO Strongarm the whole way through. Unfortunately I lost in top 8, but there was a bunch of hype moments captured on stream, and it's definitely a tournament experience I'll never forget.
Block 6.
From the top rope, concealed object comes down, and it earns the fist bump, as even though there were some turns that were unexciting and uninspiring, Noah Beygelman giving us a moment of dramatics.
Despite forcing KO in the calling, I spent Friday's world premiere discussing sealed pools for all the heroes, with many top players and teammates. And in my run in the calling, I played against all the different heroes, so I think I have a good sense of how you can find success with each hero at your pre-release. Let's start with the basics. This set has 4 playable heroes. There's KO, the Reviled Brute, Liath, the Reviled Guardian, Toughnut, the Revered Brute, and Pletes, the Revered Guardian. Everyone will start with 8 Super Slam packs and a set of promo cards which you can play with, so you don't have to worry about picking certain equipment for your class. You'll always have at least a full set. You're required to play at least 30 cards in your main deck in sealed, but you can swap out some cards based on the opponent you're facing, and if you find that you aren't vibing with the hero you tried at start, you can even change your hero entirely between rounds. All the heroes have unique playstyles. Let's explore each of them. Firstly, we have KO. Totally not biased, starting with KO. His activated hero ability allows you to buff the base power of your attack actions, which synergizes very well with the certain Reviled and Brute cards, and makes blocking decisions difficult for your opponent throughout the game. Key cards include Bask in Your Own Greatness and Flex Strength at common, Mocking Blow and Sadistic Scowl at rare, and if you're lucky enough to pull some supers like Disturb the Peace, Tear Down the Idols, and Big Bully, these could be great signs to play KO. The best strategy I found with KO was to get off to a strong start with cards that boo and 3-for-7 attacks to get a little bit of chip damage. Then leverage lots of 3 blocks to maintain that lead until you find a hand that can close out the game, or your opponent just runs out of cards to defend with naturally. Your KO deck should have between 14 to 18 blue cards, and then you want to fill out the rest with those aforementioned key cards, some 3-for-7 attacks, and then ways to be booed, and ways to set up with might tokens to push damage over your opponent's defenses. Next up for Team Reviled is Liath. The first 5 intellect hero comes with a significant drawback, having the base power and defense values of all your cards. However, there's conveniently a bunch of cards in Super Slam kind of specifically designed to circumvent this problem. Key cards include Power Play and the Guardian attacks with Crush and Tower, along with the red suspense auras and other non-attacks that will buff the power of your next attack. Some higher rarity cards like Leave Them Hanging, Bully Tactics, and Battered, Beaten, and Broken could be reasons to try out Liath. The general game plan for Liath is to set up huge turns where your suspense auras pop and you have some non-attacks that will all combine together to buff your attack sky high. Ideally you pair this with an Intimidate effect or a confidence token to also stop your opponent from blocking the majority of your 20+ damage swings. Be sure to note that his hero ability only buffs the defensive action cards, and don't forget that you can use his ability on your own turn to get booed and make a might token. This is relevant for the goon cards, which all need 3 aura tokens to get +3 attack. Fortunately for Liath deck building, the majority of your attacks are going to be blue or yellow, so you can really comfortably jam 14 to 18 blues similar to KO, and 8 to 10 ways to buff your attacks to set up that turn where you just completely one-shot your opponent. Switching over to the revered side, we have Toughnut. Just as Liath's hero ability nerfs his 5 intellect, Toughnut's 3 intellect is balanced by his ability to pitch the top of the deck, creating a toughness token if it has 6 or more power as you are cheered. This means an ideal Toughnut deck should contain as many yellow 6 power attacks as possible, prioritizing those that cost 2 or block 3, maybe both if you're lucky enough. Ideally your red attacks cost 2, such as Who's the Tough Guy and Rough Up, and you should spam as many of the clash attacks as you can fit, as you are the most likely hero to win clashes on average. Since you lack any evasion mechanics the other heroes have, the way Toughnut will win most games will be by attrition, and the most efficient way to get the games to that state are by setting up multiple toughness tokens using Dig In and other cheer sources that turn prior to your opponent popping off, then punishing your opponent's setup turns with go again attacks like Buck Wild to lower their ceiling and make them block to avoid lethal damage. You technically don't even need any blues for Toughnut to function, but any of the 3 blocks with potentially relevant effects on defense or go again will end up being useful in Pletes. Last but not least, there's Pletes. While her hero ability might not be as flashy as the others, Pletes offers you the ability to control when your Auras of Suspense will pop and generate confidence tokens, allowing you to swiftly deliver haymakers to your opponent. The biggest strength of Pletes is her access to shoot your mouth off and red power play as above rate attacks, along with full of bravado and comeback kid to set up the confidence tokens needed to deliver a lethal blow. She also has ways to prevent the opponent from using their hand effectively. Your opponent thinks they might be able to block, and suddenly they're facing down 2 red Auras of Suspense, you say pass, and they are unable to use their hand. Her general strategy is to get your opponent low enough that you can effectively cheat the normal endgame using a well-timed confidence token to deliver lethal damage, despite your opponent having cards or equipment they would have wanted to block with. Ideally, your Pletes deck would have around 4 to 6 Auras of Suspense, 15 or more blues that are either Auras of Suspense to hold counters or 3 blocks, 2 to 4 of those yellow Guardian, Tower, or Crush attacks, and then just fill out the rest of the deck with big attacks. I hope this was helpful. This is a super fun format. I can't wait to get down to my local store to play this weekend. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.